Assalamualaikum, my name is AIMAN Arif and my group members consist of MUHAMAD Arif Faisal, bin Muhammad AZMI and also MUHAMAD Faisal bin Muhammad YUSOF. So our title for this assignment is Solar Energy Farming for Electric Fans and Water Pump. Now let's move to the introduction of the project. So before we move to the introduction of the project, we need to know the problems. What are the problems that make us want to develop the system? So the problem statement for this project, we have found that conventional fossil fuels lead to environmental pollution, and this environmental pollution will lead to climate change. Therefore, as the threat of climate change escalates due to the increased carbon emissions, several countries are starting to turn to sustainable energy sources in order to replace these traditional or conventional fossil fuels that led to environmental pollution. So one of the renewable energy source that we can use is solar energy, where this solar energy can supply sufficient electricity to the electrical appliance applied in agricultural technology every single day. So in this project we will use solar energy to reduce environmental pollution, and this solar energy also can supply electricity to electric fans and also assist in water pumping to help protect the yield crops, as well as keeping livestock such as cow, goats and buffalo from running away from their barn. Next we can go to the introduction of the project. Okay, now I will explain a little bit about our project. I will tell a little bit exposure about what is solar electric fencing and water pump system is all about. So about this project, it is application of agriculture technology, which is agriculture technology is the application of technology to agriculture, horticulture, aquaculture with the goal of increasing output or yield, efficiency and profitability. So in this assignment we have proposed a project or a system called Solar Energy Farming for Electric Fans and Water Pump to help farmers, especially in Malaysia, to manage their crops more efficiently and also to manage their livestock more efficiently also. So the suggested methodology for this project is that the solar electric fans will be using a high voltage low current converter, which is a DC to DC converter. Meanwhile, for the water pump, we will be using a 3-phase inverter and filter that is involved in the circuit that will be function to run the AC motor of the water pump. So this project is basically involves two type of power converter, which is DC to DC and also DC to DC for electric fans and also DC to AC for water pump. So this project can help sustain the agricultural operations by improving soil health and also protecting crop yields. So that is a little bit exposure about our project, and it will be discussed further in this video. So let's move to the next slide.
In this project named as Solar Energy Farming for Electric Fans and Water Pump, it requires few components including solar panels, DC to DC converter, DC to AC converter, electric fans and water pump. So my part for this presentation, I will brief a little deep about these components. For solar panels, they are made of solar cells that organized in a grid. Their material is come from silicon. It absorbs photons, then will generate an electric current as output to the load. Next, DC to DC converter is needed in solar charge controller to maintain the power. If there is a low voltage due to insufficient light hitting the solar panel, the current will be increased to achieve the same power. Buck and boost converter inside this DC to DC converter will help to step up and step down the voltage. Besides, DC to AC converter is applied to run the motor inside the water pump. Voltage that supplied by solar energy is only DC voltage. That's why AC to DC converter is a must to force the water pump in order to generate normally. Moreover, electric fans is considered to use for this project is to make sure the system in agricultural more effective. Electric fence is said to be a fantastic solution for a huge group of animals. It can train them to be tamed and continue to survive with their group, where the electric fence acts as a psychological barrier rather than a physical one. On the other hand, water pumps are used in farming to supply the water to the barn. When the water is at low level, it will automatically pump the water from the source, such as tributary, to the barn. This water pump can help to supply enough water to make sure the livestock receive an adequate supply continuously. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, next let's talk about the operation of the system. This system start with the solar panel as the power sources. From the solar panels, it will generate the DC energy and supply to the power storage, which is the battery, 12-volt battery. Before it charge the battery, the energy from the solar panels will go through the solar charge controller to ensure that the output produced from the solar panel much more efficient. For example, you have 12-volt solar panels. The solar charge controller must ensure that the output produced must be equal or almost equal to the input voltage before it can charge the battery. In the solar charge controller, there is a DC to DC converter, which is the chopper, where the function is to convert the direct current to different current voltage level with a regulated output. Commonly, in the solar charge controller, it will use the buck boost converter in order to increase or decrease the voltage level. Okay, next, the output from the battery is fed into the energizer before it can supply to the conductive wire. The function of the energizer is to convert the power from the battery into the voltage in pulse form. The significance is to eliminate the risk of the dangerous electric shock. Then the positive output from the energizer is connected to the ground. Okay, furthermore, the power from the battery is also consumed by the water pumping system. To do that, the DC power supplies by the battery have to convert into the AC power source by the inverter, because the water pump use AC power to generate it, and this shows that the importance of the power converter in the power electric circuit. Okay, let's jump into the conclusions. As the conclusions, it is clear that the power converter is important in today's world. There are two types of converters involved in this project, which are DC to DC converter and DC to AC converter. DC to DC converter is used in the solar charge controller to control the voltage level produced by the solar panel. Then the DC to AC converter is used for water pumping, as the water pumping needed only AC power. This project is said to be environmentally friendly because it is entirely powered by the renewable energy, which is solar energy. One of the most significant effects of this project is that it is encourage people to venture into the agriculture field by utilizing the new technology. Next, it can provide an adequate supply of livestock in this country while also keeping the livestock in good health. That's all from me. Thank you.